what I'd like to do now is to introduce Dave if he's ready. So Dave has been a Select member for quite some time. He's also been working with us on smart boards for a good number of years. So we know Dave really well, and if you want somewhere to go for your tax advice and your accounting advice, then he's a great place to go. And and I've got a lot of time and a lot of respect for Dave. So do listen to what he's got to say. And also I think he'll probably talk about the fact that there's some funded support that he can offer as well, to either to any of us that might find it useful, or potentially to any of our clients. So I'm going to hand over to Dave now. So if I stop sharing, Dave, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Yeah, thank you, Kevin. So yeah, thanks guys. A bit of background about what we do and what we're all about. So the business is 10 years old next month, actually. So we started, my background was KPMG, became a bean counter there, qualified bean counter and a tax expert. Then moved on to a company called Circ on the FTSE, so I was finance director there. And I guess about 10 years ago, got to that stage where I thought there's more to life than the corporate BS really, and all that goes with it. So we started from our kitchen table, and we're 10 people now, and I say 10 years old, and about 450 clients. So that's a bit of background about us. We've got clients all over the country, all shapes and sizes, all different sectors and spheres. And I guess there's two important things they want to know about their business. One, what's their tax bill and how can they legitimately minimise that tax bill and do things differently potentially. And also not too bothered about where they've been, but all about making sure they've got a sat nav for the future really, where will they be in 10 years time, next month, next year, or a better vision or sat nav for the future really. So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to just cover three separate things today. Just a bit of a recap over the last, I suppose, 8 to 9 months about what we've done for our clients, how we've helped them, and how you can be helped also. A bit, if I don't mind, touch upon the upcoming budget on the 3rd of March, so literally about 6 or 7 weeks away now, what my thoughts and predictions are there. And just to let you know about some local support that's available in Worcestershire. Just on a side note on that, we deal with clients, as I say, all over the country. We've got a client in Gateshead who works in this particular sector, and they're just amazed at how much support we get in Worcestershire, how much grants there are available, business support generally, in terms of help and guidance. You'll probably see when I come onto it, but there's coverage there for finance, IT, cyber security, marketing, green essentials. There's a whole coverage in terms of free business advice. And you'd be crazy, I guess, to kind of switch off and not ignore that really. So those three things, if that's okay. I won't harp on too much, but I think if we go back and just look at my experience over the last 10 months, quite amusing to say the least, and also quite staggering. So what have we done over the last 10 months? Supported our clients really, lots of pro bono work. I'll be honest with you, I've had clients in tears, hysterical in the wrong sectors, maybe hospitality, leisure. And clients also flourishing through all of this, winners and losers, I guess. But one thing they've all got in common is really they need to have some sort of direction of where they're going to. And we've helped them really get their financial sat nav set. So all of our clients in the main are on something called Xero or maybe QuickBooks. So we're essentially making sure they've got the day-to-day figures sorted in terms of what their profit and loss is, but more importantly, integrating with certain apps really, one being Fluidly, the other one being Spotlight, so they know exactly where their sat nav is, where their future might lie. The next 12 months is all scoped out as a profit and loss account, balance sheet, and so on. So they've got a vision, so we've helped them with all of that. And essentially, there's been lots of furlough payments. You're probably all aware of this anyway, but the furlough scheme runs to the end of April. My personal opinion needs to be extended beyond that, maybe to June. But we've done all of that for our clients on a pro bono free basis, really making sure they're supported. There's lots of things out there at the moment. The bounce back loan, most of our clients have taken on board just in case. Government free money, I guess, for 12 months, no repayments needed. And clients have just taken that just in case, really. They can hand that back at a later date if they need to within the first 12 months. So a lot of clients have taken that and they've used that essentially to grow their businesses, push forward. Maybe it might be a new website. It might be to invest in new infrastructure. It might be to doing some R&D, but recreate the business. They've used that to what it's meant for, really, being a bounce back. But one thing everyone has done or should have done is lent on their accountant or their FD. I mean, it's all about the numbers, really, business. It's great to have that marketing plan, but it's great to have the staff around you. But the one thing is cash is king, turnovers, vanity and all of that. But it's all about the cash. So making sure your FD, if you're looking to have one, your bookkeeper, your accountant, is helping you to demonstrate their value, really, making sure the figures, you know where you're going to, making sure you know where your tax bills are, your VAT, and also making sure you're leaning on the government. They've been very, very generous. I think Rishi's done a sterling job. And I think that also there's lots of ability there to defer VAT. There's the ability to defer VAT, tax, corporation tax, lots available, just making sure it's all forecasted for and it's in your cash flow forecast. And clients have panicked a little bit, if I'm honest. They've had lots of things to worry about, staffing issues, moving away from an office. All I've really said to them is have one key figure or objective in mind and just concentrate on that. It might be a turnover figure. It might be a break-even point. It might be the profit you need to make. It might be making sure that website's sorted. Just concentrate on one thing at a time. Make sure you nail it and get it done. It's no good kind of trying to do 4 or 5 things and failing dismally. Just do one important thing and make sure that you nail it and achieve it. And all I'd say is do one positive thing each day. It might be attending a course like this, talking to Kevin, potentially listening to a podcast, reading a technical article, speaking to staff. But just do one positive thing every day that makes you, spurs you on, really, and gets you in that sort of mindset. And I think Andrew already touched upon it. A big thing for me really has been that physical exercise, making sure that obviously we work our derrieres off for our clients, but at the same time look after ourselves. Make sure we're getting out for a run, spending some time with the family, just a bit away from the laptop, really, and the computer. And it's dangerous, I think, in this day and age where we're all working from home, and that could creep into living at work. So it's just making sure we've got our boundaries set out. We don't rely too much upon, kind of getting obsessed by work, really. So that's where it's been. So for the last 10 months, grueling, really. We've all worked hard, we've all battened down. But off the back of that, I think it's been a great time to be in business, cynically. People have to think on their toes, think around the box. And I think the biggest thing I've noticed is the amount of clients that are reinventing themselves. And that's testament to things like research and development tax credits, whereby they've done things differently. And the government are incentivising them to be able to get tax benefits for doing something differently, joining software, for example, having an improvement process in place, being innovative. So that's a bit of background where we've been in the past year. And we've got a budget coming up in probably 6 to 7 weeks' time, and there's been a lot of speculation about the fact that the government have coughed out trillions of support for us all, and how that's going to be paid back. It could be a bit of a pump, but I think personally, there's another round of quantitative easing to come forward from the government. I think also they've borrowed trillions and billions, and I think taxing us heavily, certainly over the next 12 to 24 months, isn't the way to go. They've borrowed staggering amounts, and I think we're going to flourish, there's no doubt about it. Vaccinations will roll out. Everyone's going to be okay at the end of the day. I mean, it's hard where we are now to kind of see beyond that, but spring 2022, beyond that, things will get better. And we're all going to be buoyant again, and things are going to, in my opinion, bounce back. And that will create inflation. And I think what the government are hoping, or what will happen, is the trillions of amounts worth of debt they've borrowed will be inflated away gradually. It won't be our problem necessarily. It'll be our children's and grandchildren's, and unfortunately. But I think over the period of time, that debt will be deflated. And I think the worst thing Rishi can do in March is start to say, right, let's hammer individuals, let's start increasing corporation tax, let's put stamp duty up, let's attack capital gains tax. I think there might be a little bit of that in terms of expectations going forward. I think ultimately it's going to be a giveaway budget. I think I can see the furlough being extended. I can see more support for house builders. There's a question mark I read over the weekend in the Sunday Times where they scrapped stamp duty and merged it with the council tax. And I think there's a big debate at the moment today about whether stamp duty is kind of extending the stamp duty holiday for another 3 months. So I think he's going to look at it sensibly, and I think he's going to put more stimulus in place and take us forward. And in due course, obviously, inevitably, the tax rises will come, but I think they're 12 to 24 months down the line. That's my kind of input into the whole thing, really, for what it's worth. He's doing a sterling job, and I think he'll continue to do that, supporting businesses by giving us encouragement to move forward, really, and grow the economy and grow the UK generally. So moving on, really, as I say, speaking to people outside of our particular county, we're very, very well blessed in terms of what's being available. And there's two things we've been looking to being accepted for. So we're involved in two programs. First and foremost, the Here to Help Business Adapt. That's through Worcestershire County Council. And there's three elements to that. So the support for IT, the support for marketing, and the support for finance. So you'd be crazy, in my opinion, to pay for advice when it's freely available. Initially, there's three-hour sessions to talk to an expert in those certain areas in any realm of that particular support you might need. And then beyond that, and then if you've really got a massive need for support, there's up to 6 days worth of support in any of those areas, which is massive. We've got clients at the moment asking for R&D support, cash flow forecasting, reviewing their taxes, even bookkeeping support and help with that. So there's nothing it doesn't cover. And I guess the same way with the marketing, really. If you want to put a marketing plan together, where you've got issues with social media or your strategy generally, there's available help there. So you'd be crazy not to look at it, consider it, and put an application form in my opinion. And off the back of that, really, there's been a recently announced launch of Worcestershire Business Central. So Kevin's involved massively in what's called the peer networks. And I know he's presented, I think it was last week or the week before, with Mark Wright on that. And that's the gateway, in my opinion. So it's all about, in my opinion, being surrounded by good people. And that runs off the back of the peer networks. And then when you know what the good people are and what you need, then you can go to the marketing gurus, you can go to the IT experts, the finance people, etc. And there's been a big push by Worcestershire Business Central to be able to give support to the right businesses that are growing and need that support. And again, there's 4 or 5 sectors. I know there's IT, there's general business advice, there's marketing, there's finance, and there's also anyone associated with green credentials to have help in all of those certain areas. Again, free support, up to half a day, I think, per session. I think a maximum of 1 day. So lots to go at, really. So if you're not, apply for both. The one difference is that Worcestershire Business Central, they apply to B2C businesses rather than B2B. I know a big criticism my clients have is there's lots of support out there, Dave, for B2B businesses, but I'm a B2C business. And the Worcestershire Business Central support applies applicably to B2C businesses. So if you are a B2C business, maybe have a look at that. I can send out the links after this meeting, or Kevin can, just to see how you apply for those grants and that support, really. And also to mention also grants Sustain and Grow. And that again is a 50% grant towards growing the business. It might be capital equipment, it might be a new website, marketing yourself. But again, not to be sniffed at, worth going for. And I think, in my opinion, if you're going to go for £500 and you can afford to go for 5,000, it's the same amount of work involved. So, get all your ducks in a row. Think about what you need over the next 12 months. Draw a list together and essentially go forward and put all that together and get a grant for the full kit and caboodle. That's what I'll be promoting, really. So lots to go at. We're very lucky in this particular county, in my opinion, and what's out there. And I think surround yourself with good people. There's plenty of support and help. So just get stuck in, really. That's what I'll be saying. And supporting Kevin in the peer networks as well. Surround yourself with good people and just collaborate and get stuck in. And one thing I suppose I have learned over the last 12 months, really, is just be positive and aim for the sky, and everything else seems to work out, hopefully. And that's about it, Kevin, for me.
Very good. Thank you very much, Dave. Really, really good. So any questions? Anybody got any questions for Dave?
Yeah, I did think of something. What does the Perrigo crystal ball say about entrepreneurs relief, Dave?
I think, don't quote me on this because I'm not online or anything, but I think ultimately, Rishi is going to come forward and say they're going to phase it out, but from 2022 and beyond. So I think we've still got an opportunity. I think he's got to, he can't really cripple people who are trying to get a business up and running at the time, when they're trying to do that, really. I think he'll probably phase it out, but not this year, not for a year or two. Mm. So I think he might send some warning signals at the budget, but he won't put anything into action.
Can be a gradual reduction or increase in the rate. I
think so. Maybe put it down from $1 million to $500,000 next year, or then essentially, maybe put it to 20% rather than 10.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll take it off the table. I certainly think he will attack in due course, but not this year.